right. So today, for this month, I picked. Her name is Jael. She is a woman who fulfilled Deborah's prophecy. She's somebody I never really heard of before. Of course, I know Deborah. She was the judge at that time, but I've never really heard much about Jael. And she was the person who fulfilled Deborah's prophecy. So in Judges 5, verses 24 through 27, I will read that. It says, "Most blessed of women be Jael, the wife of Heber the Canaanite. Most blessed of tent-dwelling women. He asked for water, and she gave him milk. In a bowl fit for nobles, she brought him curdled milk. Her hand reached for the tent peg, her right hand for the workman's hammer. She struck Sisera. She crushed his head. She shattered and pierced his temple. And at her feet he sank, he fell, there he lay. At her feet he sank, he fell, where he sank, there he fell dead." So she is a woman who killed Sisera. So we have to look at who these people are. So there was a alliance between King Jabin and Heber. Heber was Jael's husband, and King Jabin, he was the king of the Canaanites at that time. And there was oppression in the land. The King Jabin had ruled for 20 years with oppression over the Israel people. So she killed Sisera because he was the commander of the army of the Canaanites. And in Judges 4, 1 through 3, if we go to the beginning, the backstory, it says, "Again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord. Now that Jael was dead, so the Lord sold them into the hands of Jabin, the king of Canaan, who reigned in Hazor. Sisera, the commander of his army, was based in Haggim, because he had 900 chariots fitted with iron and cruelly oppressed the Israelites for 20 years. They cried to the Lord for help." And Deborah was a judge and a prophetess during that time. And Barak is the Israelite army commander. And Sisera again was the Canaanite army commander. So God at this time, because they were in oppression and they cried out to the Lord for help, God gives Deborah a prophecy that the Canaanite army will be defeated. But Barak, which again is the Israel's commander, he is very doubtful and will only go to fight the Canaanites if Deborah goes with him. So in Judges 4:9, she says, "Certainly I will go with you. But because of the course you are taking, the honor will not be yours, for the Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman." So Deborah went with Barak to Kadesh. So because he was doubtful, he would not get the honor for taking down the Canaanite army. It will be given to a woman. So Jael is just living her life. She doesn't know about the backstory and what's going on with Deborah's prophecy. But she does live in the town, so she knows about the oppression. She once upon a time with her husband lived in the Israel territory, but now they lived in the northern Canaanite territory. And that is why it is an alliance between King Jabin and her husband, because he switched sides and went with who was ruling at the time. So as time goes on, they fight, and of course, God's word is fulfilled. The Canaanite army is defeated, and Sisera, he flees from the battle and goes to the Canaanite camp because he has an alliance there. But he goes into Jael's camp and in her tent, and as we read in Judges 5, she kills him. And she kills him with something very simple, a tent peg and a hammer, which is something she's used to having around in her tent because she takes her tent up and takes it down every day. So she was not one of the warriors, one of the soldiers. She was just a housewife, and she used what she had to fulfill the prophecy that Deborah gave, that they would take down the Canaanite army. So once Sisera was killed by Jael, King Jabin was eventually destroyed, and they were given 40 years of peace. So the first thing I put for her story was she used what she had. When God prompts us for something great, we use what we have. And she used what she had. She didn't have a sword or a knife. She used what she used every day and fulfilled what God had placed for her to do, which was take down the commander, to bring down the king, to give the Israelite people peace. And so the verse I have for that is 2 Corinthians 12:9-10. And it says, "But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weakness, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in my weakness, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For where I am weak, then I am strong." And the second thing from her story is God will bless you and the people connected to you for your sacrifice or your trouble. So she had to go against her husband. He had switched sides to be with the Canaanites, and she still wanted to give honor to God's people, and she took the opportunity and she took out the commander. So she killed someone, which was definitely trouble. That could not been easy. And so because of that, she is etched in history as being part of the story of taking down the Canaanites in this period in time. And also, she blessed the community that she was in because they suffered for 20 years, but then they had peace for 40 years. So for Isaiah 61:7 is the verse I had to go with that. And it says, "Instead of your shame, you will receive a double portion. And instead of disgrace, you will rejoice in your inheritance." And so you will inherit a double portion in your land, and everlasting joy will be yours. So Jael was someone, like I said, I didn't know much about, and I guess, now we do know some more about her. She was a strong woman, and she helped fulfill Deborah's prophecy. So when we think about Deborah, hopefully we will remember Jael as well and what she did for her community in that particular time period.